The Suebian knot was a hairstyle worn by ancient Germanic tribesmen living east of the Rhine River. Archaeological and ancient source material indicate that this style was worn from at least the 3rd century BCE through the 5th century CE. Tacitus describes the hairstyle thus: "It is a national sign to wear one's hair obliquely and tie it in a knot. Thus the Suebi are separated from the other Germans, thus the free Suebi from their slaves." We are extremely lucky to have 2 physical examples of the Suebian knot to study. These were recovered from bodies found preserved in German peat bogs. Each is named for the nearest town to its recovery site. Both were found in the region of Schleswig-Holstein between Hamburg, Germany, and the Danish border. Many centuries ago, both men were decapitated before being carefully placed in their watery graves. The head of Osterby man was recovered in 1948. He was about 50 years old when he died. His head was wrapped in a deerskin, then hammered into the bog with wooden stakes. The rest of his body has never been found. Deitgen man was discovered in 1958. He was about 30 years old when he died. His head was recovered about 3 meters away from his staked body. In Germanic and Celtic antiquity, staking a body into its grave prevented it from becoming a revenant. A revenant is an animated corpse that returns to haunt the living. Scholars hypothesize that execution, decapitation, and staking was not practiced on human victims selected for sacrifice to the gods. Rather, they were punishment for socially destructive crimes, particularly violence against one's own people. Commonly available Suebian knot diagram shows the movement of hair into the knot, but it does not show the necessary hand manipulations to tie the knot, nor where nor how the ends of the hair should be controlled. This is problematic because knotted hair collapses with gravity unless the ends are secured. My model's hair is more than 20 inches long. Osterby man's hair is said to be 11 inches long, and Deitgen man's hair 12 inches long. Each Suebic man confronted the qualities of his own hair. Therefore, each man's knot will have appeared slightly different from another's. I need a wide tooth comb to move the hair into position. I gradually work the hair up high and to the right side of the head. I use hard water for my styling aid to emulate the surface and spring water available to the ancient Suebi. To make this, I mixed a pint of tap water with a 1/4 teaspoon pickling lime, calcium carbonate, and 1/8 teaspoon of baking soda, bicarbonate of soda. We also know from ancient sources that the Germanic tribes made primitive lye soaps that they used to lighten their hair. We should therefore conclude that ancient Germanic tribes had rough textured hair from alkalinity and mineral deposits. While the artifact hair was twisted before tying, I found twisting to be less successful on my model's very springy hair, so I simply chose not to. I leave it to each individual attempting this style to determine which technique works for them. Hold the ends with the left hand. With the right hand, grasp the hair at low midstrand and rotate this hand toward the right, creating a loop. Use the fingers of the right hand to pull the high midstrand through the loop. This forms a slip knot. Hold on to the loop while wrapping the ends tightly around the base of the knot. Now see it from above. Through trial and error, I found that wrapping the ends of the hair tightly under the knot, then forcing the knot over the ends to tighten it, holds quite well, provided the hair has the tapered, stringy ends characteristic of fully grown out hair, and the more split ends, the better. Still, his ends needed dampening with hard water to exploit the hair's natural elasticity and roughen the cuticle. As the damp ends dry, they lock into a tight curl around the base. Coincidental benefit of the Suebian knot is that it conceals thinning hair because of the oblique movement of the scalp hair. However, Suebi men with severe baldness may have had to dress their knots in the nape area for comfort and stability. I made a couple of more discoveries while teaching my model to arrange this style on his own hair. Bending the body forward takes advantage of gravity to better guide the mass of hair into position. It then struck me that both Osterby and Daetgen men were likely right-handed, as I am. My modern model is left-handed, and he had difficulty creating the knot on his right side. After reconsulting Tacitus, I found I had made a faulty assumption. The Suebian knot is customarily tied to the side, but not necessarily a specific side. Also, the source passage contains no qualifiers such as a dextra parte or a sinistra parte, indicating uniformity. Therefore, I conclude that wearers set it on either side according to preference. Tacitus says that some wore it on top of the head, which made them appear taller. However, it is also true that knotting skill was necessary to daily survival tasks for all tribes, so Suebic men likely could tie their hair up by feel alone upon any zone of their heads, regardless of hand dominance. I next wondered whether the knot was worn by little boys in the tribe or whether it was taken as a sign of manhood. Unfortunately, Tacitus doesn't say when Suebic boys began wearing the tribal knot, but he does say that it was never relinquished, even with old age and infirmity. He says, "Among the Suebi, even those with horrid gray hair twist it up." This was a great first try. To take down the style, loosen the base wrap and pull the knot off the looped hair. For you modern wearers whose hair is in hopelessly good condition or bluntly cut, I recommend a workaround to prevent the knot from collapsing. After winding the ends under the knot, tightly overwrap the ends with a strip of yarn or a soft piece of leather. Trial and error will help you find what works for you. The ancient Romans believed themselves superior to the Germans in intellect, as warriors, and as people. But Caesar Augustus' army still got whooped in the year 9 CE at the Battle of Teutoburg Forest in the area of Kalkreise. 3 entire legions were wiped out, and the commanding general Quinctilius Varus committed suicide from shame. After Teutoburg, it was many decades before Rome gained significant territory east of the Rhine River. Keep watching during the credits for more repetitions of the style and to see my bibliography if you want to research further. I hope you liked my video, and please subscribe to receive my latest. Cheers!